In 2026, the line between man and machine is blurring faster than we ever imagined. We have AI writing our emails, generating our art, optimizing our bodies, and, increasingly, making decisions we used to reserve for ourselves. And yet, one game predicted all of this with unsettling precision. Not last year, not 5 years ago, but 13 years ago. Deus Ex: Human Revolution is not just a sci-fi shooter with good aesthetics and a memorable protagonist. It's a haunting mirror, held up to a future we are already living in, a meditation on identity, inequality, power, and what it actually means to be human, when human is becoming optional. So today, we're dissecting why this game captures the terrifying reality of forced metamorphosis, better than any modern headline. And trust me, by the end of this, you'll look at your smartphone differently. Let's start with Jensen. On the surface, he looks like your standard action hero. Gruff voice, trench coat, cybernetic arms that could punch through a wall. But here's what separates him from every other power fantasy in gaming. He never wanted any of it. Jensen doesn't wake up and think, cool, robot arms. He wakes up in a hospital bed, his body rebuilt without his consent. And the first coherent thought the game gives him is, I never asked for this. That line is not just a meme. It's the entire thesis of the game. Jensen's augmentations are the result of a traumatic attack that nearly killed him. His employer, Seraph Industries, didn't save him so much as they repurposed him. He is, functionally, a corporate asset, walking around in what used to be his own skin. His mechanical dysphoria isn't played for laughs, or treated as a dramatic backstory quirk. It hangs over every conversation, every quiet moment in his apartment. The man is genuinely grieving the body he lost. And that resonates deeply, right now. Because in 2026, we're experiencing our own version of that. Not physical, but professional, creative. AI is being integrated into our workflows, our art, our output, often without meaningful consent. It's just there. Your company uses it now. Your industry has adapted to it. And somewhere between the first tool and the 15th subscription, you stopped being asked whether you wanted to change. Jensen's mantra is ours. We never asked for this either. Now let's talk about the world Jensen inhabits. Human Revolution is visually stunning. All amber light and gold-tinged Renaissance architecture, Baroque ornamentation fused with cold corporate geometry. The art direction is deliberate. The game is set during what it calls a new Renaissance, a period of explosive technological enlightenment. But step outside the glass towers of Seraph Industries and into the streets of Detroit, and the Renaissance evaporates. The people down there are addicted to Neuropozyne, a drug that prevents the body from rejecting cybernetic implants. Without it, augmentations literally start killing you. And who controls the supply? Corporations, of course. The people with the least resources need augmentations the most to survive in the new economy. And yet they're the ones least able to afford the medication. That keeps those augmentations from destroying them. Sound familiar? Think about subscription-based hardware. Think about software that ceases to function the moment you stop paying. Think about the trajectory of medical technology, the therapies, the wearables, the neural interfaces currently in development. And ask yourself, who will have access to those when they arrive? And who will be locked out? Neuropozyne is a biological paywall. The game invented the concept a decade before the tech industry normalized it. Gleaming corporate elites above, aug-addicted underclass below. That's not dystopian fiction. That's a logical extrapolation of systems already in motion. Here's something Human Revolution does that most games and most films, honestly, don't bother with. It makes you feel lonely. Not sad, not melodramatic, just lonely. In the way that modern life is lonely. Jensen's apartment is a masterclass in environmental storytelling. It's cluttered, personal, full of objects with implied histories, books, takeout containers, a dead plant. It's a space that used to be lived in. Now it's just occupied. He exists in it, but he doesn't live there anymore. That aesthetic extends to the entire game world. Cities are dense and architecturally spectacular, but the streets feel thin. People cluster in groups that feel like crowds, rather than communities. The gold cinematography, beautiful as it is, casts everything in a kind of amber isolation, like the world is preserved behind glass. The game is making an argument. Technology that promises to connect us has a remarkable talent for making us feel further apart. Augmentations give Jensen capabilities he couldn't dream of before his surgery. They also make every human interaction slightly more transactional, slightly more mediated. He processes the world through filters, literally. His eyes do it. And that processing creates distance. We know this distance. We've felt it. We've posted about connection online while sitting alone. Jensen just has the decency to look you in the eye and admit what that actually feels like. Let's talk about the endings. Human Revolution gives you 4. And when you reach them, you realize something quietly devastating. None of them are really yours. Every ending is essentially you choosing which powerful entity gets to shape humanity's future. A corporation, a conspiracy, a government body, or the slow entropy of no decision at all. The game doesn't offer a good guy wins option. It offers 4 versions of the same sobering truth. Individual agency, in the face of monolithic global power, is mostly an illusion. Throughout the narrative, you watch government authority erode in real time. Regulatory bodies get outpaced and outmaneuvered. Private corporations step into the vacuum, not maliciously, but inevitably, because they move faster, have more capital, and aren't accountable to election cycles. Sound familiar? Again? The game's shadowy Illuminati, the Illuminati, literally by name, is less a conspiracy theory and more a metaphor for what happens when biometric data, patent law, and capital consolidate without oversight. Today, tech giants hold more information about our bodies, our behaviors, and our neurological patterns than any government ever has. They're not sinister. They're not mustache-twirling villains. They're just accumulating leverage, quietly, systematically. Human Revolution saw the shape of that future and drew it in stunning, uncomfortable detail. The one it never stops asking is this: is perfection worth the loss of everything that makes us chaotically, frustratingly, beautifully human? Augmentations in the game can make you stronger, faster, smarter, more efficient. They can eliminate pain, enhance perception, extend life. The transhumanist argument is genuinely compelling within the fiction, and the game respects it enough to let it be compelling. It doesn't strawman the pro-enhancement position. It lets you sit with it. And then, it shows you the cost. Not just economic or social, but existential. What happens to grief, to creativity born of limitation, to empathy forged in shared vulnerability? When you engineer those vulnerabilities away, what does authentic human experience mean? When the biological is increasingly optional? Human Revolution doesn't answer that. It refuses to. And that refusal is the most honest thing about it. Because we don't know either. And that's exactly why, in 2026, this game feels less like a 2011 release and more like a transmission from someone who'd already seen where we were going. The tragedy of Human Revolution is that it was a warning dressed up as entertainment. We played it and praised it, and then watched the world it described materialize around us, piece by piece. Jensen's story is about the moment when the future stops asking for your permission. When the systems are already in place, the infrastructure is already built, and the only question left is whether you adapt or get left behind. We never asked for this, but here we are. Thanks for watching. If this video made you think, drop a comment with which part of the game hit you hardest. I'd genuinely love to know. Subscribe if you want more essays like this, and I'll see you in the next one.